Let's get started. So to access the DARCI AI, you're going to click on DARCI, and then you are going to click on this DARCI Chat button right here. We're going to go over some things here. You're going to see, obviously, some past questions that I've asked, and I'm not going to scroll up so you can see them, and then I'll ask a couple of new ones too so you can see how this works. But just want to touch on a couple of things. This is going to keep a history, an infinite history, of every question that you have asked. And it is going to keep that history not based upon your whole database, but based upon the individual login that you used to connect. So for example, if you're at your front desk computer and you're using, let me just add one more person in here. So like I was saying, if you're at your front desk computer and you're using the login, let's just say register one login, that history is going to be kept just for that individual login. So if you're on your back computer asking questions, the front computer, when you come into DARCI Chat, is not going to see those questions. So it's a history based upon each individual login that you have. And I don't want you to clear that history because there are going to be some things that questions that you may ask where it can reference your history in order to produce not only the answer faster, but also maybe know what you're even talking about. And so let me get started with that. So we all speak a little bit differently. We call people different things. We have different setups. So it's going to be a kind of a training at the beginning. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with just using AI in general. You may word things in a certain way that makes sense to you, but the AI has no idea what you're talking about. And oftentimes, you guys will say certain things to me and I have no idea what you're talking about. And then you have to explain it, right? So it's just like anything else. You're meeting someone for the first time. That's kind of the way you've got to treat the AI. You're going to have to explain some things that are specific to you. And that's important, right? We did it specifically this way so that your lingo is specific just to your guys' database. You have, even though, we're all utilizing the same servers, no one's going to access your information. The AI, if someone asks a question as it relates to their database, is not going to then use that verbiage to apply to your database and how you're talking to it. So again, it's very important. You are going to have these conversations with your AI just to get things, the ball rolling. So a couple of examples of that I did. I'm using this little database here. Let's see. For example, I said Angie and Alla, there's two of my stylists, and I'm using salon related terms. So I know a lot of you guys are spas. Forgive me for right now. I'm just going to be using salon related terms. Well, mostly, but in any case, I specifically said these two stylists are not, or excuse me, these two operators are not stylists. They're just estheticians. And as you can see, the AI noted that. And that's going to be important when I ask questions in the future. And when I said, when asking questions about both stylists and estheticians, I'm using the term team. And the AI once again noted it. I did give some specifics here, that retail is a type R and professional is a type P. That's not, although I put that in there, that's not really going to apply to you guys because ultimately it's going to be reading our, we have our own kind of semantic views that we put into the software. So the AI knows how we categorize things. So you're not going to have to worry about that. But I do want to just give you some examples of some past questions that I asked, even just from earlier today. For example, I said, list individually how many retail units were sold in 2026 from the manufacturer Goldwell. And as you can see, it spat this out. These are all the Goldwell products that I sold in June. And this was my total. Then above and beyond just gathering information, because I do see this kind of as replacing reports. I mean, we're always going to have our reports. And in fact, we're undergoing a big overhaul of reports right now that you guys are going to love. But that being said, I think the more you guys use this, you'll probably not use reports so much because this is going to give you all of the answers that you want. and answer questions that the reports simply don't have. Or if you had to pull 10 different reports in the past to get the information that you're looking for, this is going to replace that. You're going to be able to just ask the specific question and get that information. But above and beyond just the individual data that it grabbed, I asked to increase those sales by 60%, how many retail products would each stylist need to sell each day that they work? And it did its little calculation, and it spat out some information for me. And as you can see, it's giving some additional insights at the bottom as well. So it's way more than just spitting out information. It's always going to give you additional insights at the bottom of its answer that'll help assist giving you the information that you are actually trying to get. Once I had this information, I asked the AI to help me create a contest to increase those retail sales. And, you know, it's coming up with, it's called this, the Level Up July 2026 contest. And it's telling me by, I'm going to increase by 92 units to get to the 147 units, which would make it a 60% increase. And it's just giving me ideas. You guys can do what you want with these ideas, but if you ever need help creating, rewards for your service providers in order to achieve additional revenue, whether it be service or retail. And of course, we all know retail is the biggest issue. It's the hardest, to increase your retail sales. So this is a big one here. And as it says, Stephanie here just needs to increase by one extra every 2 to 3 days. And it kind of goes down the list, and it's really just one every 2 to 3 days for each person based upon their work hours. So, and again, these are the key observations. It's telling me that Angie is the one that sells the most. So this is not only just telling me what to do, but it's telling me who's my best performer, and who needs to maybe step it up a little bit as well. And then give me some additional ideas, weekly check-in ideas. Okay, so now I'm just going to ask a question that I haven't asked before so you can see how this works. So I just want to say, let's see, who is my top performer in terms of service sales for the month of June? Give me a list of the top 10 people and how much revenue they did in both service and retail. So I just asked this question, and of course, as you can see too, you can upload information as well. So if you already have a spreadsheet or something like that, you can upload this to the chat to have it answer questions based. It can read Excel files and things like that. So it's going through my individual database that I have here, and let's see what it spits out here. So as you can see, this is what each person did in service and in retail. That took just under, I think that was just less than 15 seconds to produce all of this information. And again, my key takeaways, with Nicole being the top at just under 12,000. So on top of this, now that I've got this information, and again, this can be applied to anything. I'm just asking a basic question, but if you have KPIs that you want to research, if you want to, take a look at returning clients, client retention, things like that, anything that you can think of, you put it in here and it's going to give you the answer. And once you have it, let's say, this is something that you need to get to your accountant. You can say, make me an Excel spreadsheet of this. So now I'm going to get this in an Excel spreadsheet. You could also do graphs. If you're a more visual learner and you want to see a graph of this, you can have it put it into different types of graphs as well. I did that for one of a customer here who was actually just having a hard time reading the numbers, and they just wanted to see a picture of it. So we'll give it just a moment here. All right, here's my spreadsheet. If I click on it, which I'm not going to do at the moment, but if I click on it, it would download it. And then once you have it on your computer, then you can email it. You can do whatever you would like with it. And again, just to reiterate, it's twofold. It's going to spit out the data that's in your database in a way that the report simply can't do it. Generally speaking, it's going to do it in a much faster way as well. Plus, it's going to help give you insights. If you wanted, for example, to compare your price list, service price list with comparable businesses in your area, it can actually do that as well. So it would be able to analyze. Sorry, here I'm admitting a few more people. For the people that just joined, we've been going through this for a little while now, but don't worry. I'm going to, I've recorded this video and I'm going to be sending it to everyone. So look for that video later today. I'm going to upload it to YouTube and send it to everyone. But again, going back to what I was just saying, so you can say, hey, take a look at what I charge for my services, and here you can either give it some names of some places in your area or just give your zip code, and the AI will look based, obviously it can't look at their individual databases, but what it can do is look at their outward facing products, services. So if they have online booking, it will go analyze those sites and see how much they actually charge for their services. So you can potentially adjust your services based upon that. So, it's just kind of incredible the things that it can do in regards to that. Same with product information too. It can go ahead and analyze like what's out there, how you compare to other businesses, comparable businesses in your area. So now, what I always recommend, and anyone that's used AI knows that sometimes it can give you some head scratching bogus information. And that is true across AI. So what I recommend doing is when you do jump into this, don't ask some crazy question that goes back years of analyzing data that you can't verify. I would start, after you start training it a little bit, I would start by asking some small kind of questions that you can verify right off the bat, whether it be, yesterday's sales numbers or, just basic information. That way you're getting your lingo with it, and it knows exactly what you're talking about. And again, we have all of the semantic views, so it knows what to look for in our software. But just again, based upon how you word things, it might not fully understand just yet. So just start small, get some answers that that you can verify before then expanding that information. That is going to be key, very key. And again, the AI is backed by Claude. I don't know if you guys know Claude, but Claude is tops. And so it's backed by Claude. We got all the trust in the world in it, but at the same time, it's still AI. It's still relatively new, despite what people want to say. And sometimes, especially at the beginning, when you're getting to know it and train it, it might spit out some bogus info. So you definitely start small, give it some info. And not just that, it might include information that you simply don't want it to include, even though it's technically in your software. For example, a database, a client that I was working with, they have a fake client, and they do all sorts of things with this fake client that's on the books for certain reasons. Sometimes they check it out. They do all sorts of random things with this fake client, and it's in their database. If that's the case for you guys, or you have a service provider named like in-house or something, and you want to exclude that from reports, especially when you're running like client-facing reports, say specifically, hey, there's a client named whatever that client name is. Don't include it in the information when I request it, because that's bogus and you don't want it to skew the numbers. So again, everyone's different. Make notes of those differences that are unique to your business in the AI. Just feed it some information first before asking your questions, and you will see that that this tool is probably going to take over, I believe. And this is phase one. Phase one is gathering all of this information, like I said. We are actively working on phase two, which my hope was that it was going to be out by the end of the year, but if not, at the latest by first quarter of next year, I believe. And that is going to be the second part, which is not just gathering information, but now giving it commands. So let's say, for example, someone's schedule is being changed, and you don't either remember the steps. Hold on, I'm gonna let someone else in here. I'm just going to chat with you guys for just a moment here. But let's just say you don't remember the steps, or forget the steps, you just don't want to do it. You get a new person in and you want to be able to tell the AI, hey, this person is starting in October. Their schedule is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they only do massages. The AI is going to be able to actually just do that for you. Or, hey, and one of the things it can do now is, hey, check my schedule next week. When do I have an opening for this specific service? So it'll give you that information right now. But then with phase two, you'll be able to go a step further and say, oh, okay, actually go ahead and book this person for me at that time. So that will be available potentially by the end of the year, but definitely first quarter of next year. And that's going to be available both in the software and in the app. So that's what we're working on right now. But yeah, right now this is available to you to start banging on. I am going to be unlocking it for everybody. It's July 17th. I'm going to be unlocking it for everybody August 1st. But for a few of you, specifically the people in this class, when you email me your code, I'll unlock it for you guys sooner. So you could just go ahead and email me. Again, my email is in the chat. Just scroll up to the top of the chats and you'll see my email address. Send me the direct request and I will unlock it for you guys on Monday. We're actually doing a few updates over the weekend. That's why I'm going to wait till Monday. But yeah, get me an email request and I will unlock it for you guys, and then I'll unlock it for everyone, like I said, starting in August. And yeah, I would love your feedback. Again, we're the only ones that offer anything like this. No other software offers this. This is brand new. So please, your feedback is going to be huge to me. And I'll put my email in again here.